Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I bring you an Italian brand that is close to my heart and it's 10/118 scale models that I think you should buy as a collector. So in this video today I'm going to bring you 10 Alfa Romeo models. Sit back, follow me and enjoy the video. To this day, I think the Alfa Romeo 147 is a beautiful car. It is a bright spot in the compact class with its characterful engine and good handling. It has a huge fan base, and if you're a fanatic and looking for a model in 1/18 scale, you'll have a hard time finding one. It only exists in 3-door version, and Rico is the only manufacturer from the early 2000s to produce it in the basic version. Therefore, the price of this model is also starting to go up. Lotto will probably pull out the 147 in the near future. Let's hope they don't forget about the 5-door version and hope they will release a facelift at some point. The 145 is one of the first compacts of the Fiat era based on the Tipo. This car is, in my opinion, one of the most characterful Italian compacts of the three and fortunately exists in this scale. So far, it's been released by Mitica and Auto, of which I think Auto is the more interesting one, with the top version being the Quadrifoglio Verde. The only problem with Mitica is that it doesn't offer anything more than Auto for its high price. Hopefully someone will release the 146 in the future with at least the same quality as the Auto, because I think it would be a very niche model, as there are no nice alternatives even in a 43rd scale. The 90s GTV is a beautiful car in my opinion. It is also from the Fiat era but was available with a lot of Busso V6. In terms of styling, I think it's one of the most beautiful front-wheel drive Alfa Romeos to date. Until now, there hasn't really been an alternative to this car in a model. The Spider existed only from the 90s in 1/18 scale for its quality at the time. Auto has made a very good decision to release it, and it is now available in two colors, a classic Rosso Red and a black. I hope that the early version will be released one day, but in the meantime, it is worth getting the Auto version. The Alfa Romeo 90 is now a forgotten and sadly less classic model. It has not become as big a cult car as the 75, although it is technically the same, but a slightly bigger car. In essence, this car was the predecessor of the 160 for Alfa Romeo, and Lotto released the Quadrifoglio Oro version of this top-of-the-range version. I think it's a beautiful resin model. I had one, but it didn't stay in my collection for too long, but I can recommend it to all Italian fanatics because it's another iconic true Alfa Romeo. I think the 164 was one of the nicest sedans released in the late 80s. It was built on the Type 4 platform, like the Saab 9000, the Fiat Croma, or the Lancia Thema. Of all these cars, the 164 has the least platform identity of any of the other models. I prefer the later Super version of the 164 as it has more refined details. Lotto has only released the early series so far, but I hope they will release the Super version as well. The facelifted version already exists from Mitica, but somehow I like the details of the Lotto much better. The 164 is also available in a 999 version, which is still inferior in quality to both manufacturers. The 156 Alfa Romeo is a very nice car for me. I remember when it was launched in 1997, it was a huge leap forward for us. Formerly, all the competing 90s models next to it were ugly. However, the GTA had to wait quite a long time before it came out as it did in the model car world. Initially, in the early 2000s, the 156 GTA was launched along with the Rico 147, and I think it was much more disproportionate than the 147. A couple of years ago, Auto released the GTA and immediately started with the SV with a slight time difference into colors, and last December the GT sedan was released and finally a nicer version than the Rico was available. Both versions are very nice models and I can only recommend them to everyone. We also came to the little brother, which was one of the most extraordinary hot hatch of the 2000s. It is also the most beautiful 147 ever made. Unlike the 156 SV, Auto hasn't yet taken the step of releasing another color, even though there's a huge demand for this model. This is also reflected in the price of the model at the moment, much higher than say a Ricoh 147, which I think is also unrealistically expensive for a model that doesn't look so nice anymore. So let's hope that soon there will be other colors like the other models. The Alfa Romeo 75 is an iconic model, considered by many to be the last true Alfa, which I can't argue with, as it was rear-wheel drive and had a characterful engine. Fortunately, Lotto has put a lot of emphasis on this car, so it was already available in facelift and pre-facelift versions, Twin Spark, America and Quadrifoglio Verde and Evoluzione. There were also countless color variations and, in addition to the civilian versions, a police version was also available. In my opinion, this is another model that every Italian car fanatic should have in their collection. The next model is a huge favorite of my childhood, and not just because of the DTM and the various touring car successes, but also because I think it's the most characterful sedan of the Fiat era. I have been waiting for this model for a very long time, and Lotto has done an excellent job with this model in my opinion. Shortly after the Lotto came out, 999 also came out with their own 155, which I think is a pretty good alternative for someone who doesn't want to pay almost double for this model. However, I think that if you are looking for quality in this model, you will want to look towards the Lotto Racing for the street versions. And that brings me to a very dear model of mine, the GTV, which I still think is a wonderful Alfa Romeo. This model already exists in the GTV6 version from Auto and Solido, but let's admit that autoart is a very different level. The Solido is partially opinable and for the price a very good alternative. The autoart version is not bad either, but it really doesn't do much more than a Solido. So if you're looking for an old GTV and if your budget allows, I think this autoart is worth getting because it's a disappointment-free model. We've come to the end of the video. Thank you for your kind attention. I'll be back with another video next week. In the meantime, write in the comments section which is your favorite Alfa Romeo and which Alfa Romeo model you have in your collection. If you like my video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss out on similar content, please hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.